others will be able to view it in its entirety, Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I'm going to give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I want to preach today about why you should have a personal relationship with Jesus. Why you should have a personal relationship with Jesus. Clap your hands for the men ushers as they readjust. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. There is no secret that the most important person in all of the Bible is Jesus the Christ. From Genesis all the way to Revelation, every book has something to say about Jesus. And I encourage you, sooner than later, that you would go through the book of Matthew in its entirety. It is one of the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and all four of them are designed to give a lot of insight about the life of Jesus while he was on earth. Today we find ourselves in chapter 11. Chapter 11 has 30 verses, and the main character by far in this chapter is Jesus. And what I want to do today is I want to give you some detailed tidbits about Jesus in this chapter that will whet your appetite to go back and read all 30 verses for yourself. Our theme for the month of January has been plenty of Jesus, plenty of Jesus. So all of the passages that we have preached from this month have been scriptures where you see Jesus being highly involved. And today is no different. The best way to comprehend chapter 11 is to take the 30 verses, Patrice, and to break them up into three different sections. Make 1 through 3 the first section. 4 through 27, Jamet, will be the second section. And then finally, Kyle, 28 through 30 is the final section. 1 through 3, 4 through 27, and then finally 28 through 30. And I want to label each section because this serves as the breakdown of Matthew chapter number 11. You can place all three on the screen. Here's what you discover when you read. Number one, you discover the information regarding Jesus. The information regarding Jesus, verses 1 through 3. The information regarding Jesus. 4 through 27, Wayne, which is the longest part of this chapter, I label it as the communication from Jesus. So in verses 4 through 27, Jesus is talking. And for the most part, Earl, in verses 4 through 27, Jesus is covering two topics. But then finally, this is where I want to spend the majority of our time, Carolyn, number 3, the recommendations by Jesus. Verses 28 through 30. The recommendations by Jesus. And I want to just read a few verses. I won't be able to read them all due to the shortness of time, but I want to read just enough so that you will go back and read it for yourself, and then you'll come back to me and say, Pastor, Matthew chapter 11 is literally one of the most exciting reads in all the Bible. Tell some people on your row, he say that every week. Some of you like, first time I ever heard him say that. First time, which means you ain't been to church in a long time. Start me with verse number 1, Daniela, in the NIV. Start me with verse number 1. Watch this, K2. Watch the information regarding Jesus. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, June, this comes after chapter 10. So in chapter 10, Jesus had done a lot of things, sharing with his disciples about what it means to follow him. And verse 1 says, after he finished that, he went from there to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. What I like about Jesus is he's always on the move. He's always on the move. He's always on the move. Verse 2 says, when John, now you got to get this because this is key. John is John the Baptist, Jesus' cousin. When John, who was in prison, heard about the deeds of the Messiah. What does this mean, Tracy? That somehow or another, wherever John was, he kept getting news about what Jesus was doing. So John sent his disciples. Now, don't read the Bible too fast. You miss more than you catch. Because what do we learn from verse 2? Jesus had disciples and John had disciples. So John sends his disciples. John sends his disciples to ask Jesus. John says, boys, I want you to go to Jesus and ask him this question. Are you the one who is come, or should we expect someone else? King James says, art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? In other words, John's disciples go to Jesus and say, are you legit? Are you authentic? Are you real? Now, who wants to know this information? John does. What is John to Jesus? What is John to Jesus? He's his cousin. Watch this revelation. This verse teaches us, Earl, that sometimes your family don't even know who you are. John, his own cousin, sends messengers to ask of Jesus, are you from God? Sometimes your family don't know who you are. Not just your biological family. Sometimes your church family don't know who you are. Would you tell somebody, if you don't know who I am, you better ask somebody? You don't know who I am, doggone. You better ask. Now, I love it. I love it, Sharvin, because Jesus has an opportunity to provide clarity for John. And all John wants to know, are you sent from God, or is somebody else coming? And Jesus really all he had to say was, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Put up verse 4. Watch Jesus. Jesus replied, go back and report to John. I love it. Jesus said, you go tell John, doggone it. You go tell him what you hear and what you see. You go tell him what you hear. And then he says this, just so you won't get it twisted. Tell John the blind receive their sight. Tell John lame folks are walking. Tell John those that have leprosy are clean. Tell John the deaf can hear. The dead are raised. And 9:30 service is packed. He said, you go back and tell. Watch this. He says, I want people to know me more by lifestyle than lip service. And then put up verse 7, put up verse 7, put up verse 7, put up verse 7, put up verse 7. And as John's disciples were leaving, Jesus began to speak to the crowd about John. As John's disciples were leaving, from verse 7 all the way to 19, Jesus has words to say about John. Has words to say about John. I want you to go back and read it. I want you to go back and read it. Because all of this is a part of the communication. But I wanna close today with 28 through 30, the recommendations. And do me a favor, Daniela, put up 28 through 30 in the King James. Let me do that. King James, 28, 29, and 30 in the King James. Because you see recommendation. Look what he says. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. 29, he says, take my yoke upon you. Learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now go back to 28. Go back to 28, because there are three words I want you to focus on. Three words I want you to focus on as it relates to recommendations. Make sure you get these, Kennard. Here are the recommendations. The first word is come. Come. It's a recommendation. Come. Put up verse 29. Put up verse 29. The second recommendation is take. Take. First he says what? Come. Then he says what? Take. And then the third recommendation is learn. That's the third recommendation. He says come. He says take. He says learn. And with the remaining minutes that are left today, I want to share with you why you should have a personal relationship with Jesus. Why you should have a personal relationship with Jesus. Grab your outline. Let me give you the answers. Number one, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it is available. It is available. It is available. Right next to the word available on your outline, or however you keep in notes, write these two words. You can. You can. You can. You should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it is available. Number two. Put it up. You should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it's suitable. It's suitable. Suitable. S-U, look at the screen. Suitable. Now, here's the two words I want you to write down next to suitable. You're eligible. You're eligible. You are eligible. Now, you are can either be one word or you can make it two words. Depends on how you're flowing with English on the day. Okay? All right. You are eligible. You're eligible. You're eligible. Number one, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it is available. Number two, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because here's the last one. You should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it is profitable. It's profitable. It's profitable. What two words did you write down next to available? You can. What 2 or 3 words did you write down next to suitable? Here's the 2 words I want you to write down next to profitable. You benefit. You benefit. You benefit. You benefit. You benefit. You benefit. So, the next time somebody says to you, why do I need to accept Jesus? Why do I need to follow Christ? Why do I need to invite him into my life and be my Savior? You got 1 or 2 options you have for him. You can tell him, number 1, you ought to do it because it's available. Number 2, you ought to do it because it's suitable. Number 3, you ought to do it because it's profitable. If you can't remember that, then go to your second option. Number 1, you ought to do it because you can. Number 2, you ought to do it because you're eligible. Number 3, you ought to do it because you benefit. If you can't remember all that, just tell them, come to my church and somebody will explain to you what I've forgotten to say. And I want to show you. I want to show you all 3. I want to show you all 3. Now, I tell you all the time. I share with you all the time. Never read the Bible too fast. And why do I tell you don't read the Bible too fast? You miss more, Amy, than you catch. So let's take these verses. Let's take these verses slow. Put up 28 in the King James. Put up 28 in the King James. Look at what it says. Verse 28 in the King James. Look at the beginning. Jesus says, come unto me. Come unto me. You know what Jesus says? I'm available for you to come to me. You can come to me. You can take it down. You can come unto me. It's an invitation. It's an invitation from Jesus. All right. Think about your favorite athlete. Think about your favorite actor. Think about your favorite actress. All right. If they gave you an invitation to come to them, you'd be so happy. You'll put it all on social media. If it was a text, you would save it. You would send it to other people. If it was a letter, you would frame it. Because an athlete, your favorite athlete, an actor, your favorite actress has given you a personal invitation. And now you happy. And here you are today. Somebody bigger than an athlete. Come on, help me through here, Jonathan. Somebody bigger than an actor. Somebody bigger than an actress. Matter of fact, guess who's giving you the invitation? The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the great I am, the God of the universe has given you a personal invitation. Come on. And can we be clear? You can't accept everybody's invitation. Can we just be clear? Anybody had some invitations you like, I'll pass? Why? Because that invitation was not in your best interest. Jesus says, come to me. Come to me. Come to me. See, and when people come to you, they're not always coming to you because of who you are. Sometimes people are coming to you because of what you possess. See, when people come to you, they're not all coming for the same reason. They're not all coming because of who you are. Some are coming because of what you have. There was a young adult. He was in his late 20s. And he said to his girlfriend, he said, marry me. Marry me. He said, because my dad is rich. He's sick. He's about to die. And I'll be a millionaire soon. Marry me. My dad is rich. He's sick. He's about to die. And I'll be a millionaire soon. Will you marry me? And 2 days later, she married the dad. Come on, tell somebody. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that. Now, why did she marry the dad? Like, why marry you? 2 days later, she married the dad. And Jesus says to you, come to me. Come to me. I'm available. Come to me. Come to me. Watch this. But then number 2, let me show you why you should have a personal relationship with Jesus, because it's suitable. The word suitable means that you're eligible. The word suitable means that it's appropriate. The word suitable means that it's right. The word suitable means that it fits for you. And let me show you how this passage fits for you to come to Jesus. Put up 28 again in the King James. Look what he says. Come to me. Come to me. That's the available. Then look what he says. All ye that's tired as all get out. All right. Tell somebody you suitable. I love it. Because according to this verse, look at the people Jesus calls. He gives an invitation to people, not that's perfect, not those that got it all together. He says all the people that's tore up from the floor up, all the people that's messed up, all the people that's burdened, all the people that's stressed out, all the people that's singing, don't push me because I'm close to the edge, I'm trying not to lose my head. You are eligible to come to me. You are eligible to come to. And there are a lot of people who have not come to Jesus or church because they trying to get themselves together. You hear it all the time. When I stop so-and-so, I'm coming to church. Some of you in here. When I stop so-and-so, I'm going to join church. And you have not learned you can't stop. Not on your own. Because if you could have stopped, you would have stopped by now. Jesus says, I want you when you messed up. I want you when you're on drugs. I want you when you're going through a divorce. I want you when you're unemployed. I want you when things are not right in your life. I want you when you don't have your makeup on. Come on, everybody ain't going to come to you. Matter of fact, one Sunday we're going to have no makeup day. And we just going to sit down and try to guess who we sit next to. You're going to be like, it's me. Come on, stop playing. Stop playing, Audrey, stop playing. Some of y'all like, let me know when that day is, Pastor. I feel a sickness coming on. You are suitable. You fit the bill. I fit the bill. But then here's the last one. Number one, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it's available. Number two, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because. Number three, you should have a personal relationship with Jesus because it's. Go back to verse 28. Watch the prophet. Watch where you benefit. He says, come to me. And I'm going to give you rest. Wow. Come to me. And here's where you benefit, Dr. Joyce. I'm going to give you rest. Dr. Stacy, one of the hardest things to find in life is rest. And even when your body is at rest, your mind and there's nothing like sleeping and having a good night of rest. Come on, when you've had a good night rest, you wake up what? Renewed, refreshed, feeling good, excited. But when you don't have a good night rest, you wake up what? Mad, angry, stressed out. One lady went to sleep and didn't have a good night of rest. She went to work. And the way she was acting, her coworker said to her, did you wake up grouchy? She said, no, I let him sleep. Oh, that went over your head. She was talking about her husband. Did you wake up grouchy? Don't worry about it. It's going to click in after the fast. I know. Just come to me, and I'll give you rest. Now watch this. Put up 29. Look at 29. Look at what he says in 29. Take my yoke on you. Take my yoke. Take my yoke. What was a yoke? A yoke was a wooden harness that they put on animals. And what they would do is they would yoke a strong animal with a weak animal so that when the weak animal would go the wrong way, the strong animal would lead them toward the right path. Jesus says, put on my yoke, because you the weak one. Preach, Pastor. Put on my yoke, because I'm the strong one. And when you start going the wrong way, I want to pull you back the right way. When you start going places I delivered you from because you got my yoke on, I want to pull you. When you get out of church too long, I want to pull you back so you can find your praise. Find you. And I'm preaching to somebody here today that's wearing the wrong yoke. Take my yoke. Take my yoke. See, the Bible says, be not unequally yoked. Be not unequally yoked. Anybody here ever been with somebody and you were unequally yoked financially? You were trying to save money. They were trying to spend money. You can take it down, Danielle. Anybody been with somebody and you were unequally yoked spiritually? You were trying to grow, and they were trying to stay away as far as they can from the Lord. Anybody here been around somebody and you were unequally yoked intimately? You just wanted to hold hands. They wanted to bump and grind. I'm sorry. They wanted to hold hands. You were singing, ain't nothing wrong. Unequally yoked. Take my yoke. Take my yoke. Take my yoke. Come on, put it up again. Take my yoke. Look what he says. And learn of me. I love it. I love it. He says, you don't have to take my yoke if you don't want to. It's your choice. Daniela, put up 29 in a different translation. Let me just show you. Let me just hit this point a little bit. Wear my yoke. It fits perfectly. What were the yokes made of back then? Wood. What was Jesus before he got in ministry? A carpenter. Jesus says, I can make a yoke for you because I'm a master carpenter. And the yoke I'll give you will fit you. See, what's hurting somebody here is you got on somebody else's yoke. And it don't fit you. It don't fit you. When you see people, they're always moving their neck like that. They got on the wrong yoke. Look at some of y'all trying to sit still now. Wear my yoke. He says, and let me teach you. Let me teach you. Let me teach you. You got to let me do it. That's the Living Bible. Switch it, Daniela. Switch it. Look at the New Century. Accept my teachings. Accept my teachings and learn from me. Accept it. You got to accept. You can reject it or you can accept it. Put up the next one. CV. Take my yoke. I give you. Watch this. You put it on your shoulders. He says, I'll provide it, but I ain't going to make you put it on. Take my yoke. And then what does he say in verse 30? I'm good, Danielle. He says, because my yoke is easy. My burden is light. You know what he's saying? My way of doing things makes life easier for you. You putting on the yokes of your job, you putting on the yokes of your spouse, you putting on the yokes of society, you putting on the yokes of the Democrats, the Republicans, the Libertarian. That's too hard. Accept my way. Now let me show you this, and I'm done. Put up 28. King James, put up 28. Thank you, Danielle. You're doing a bang-up job today. 28. Put up 28. Put up 28. I want you to look at the last 5 words of 28. The last 5 words. Whisper the last 5 words of verse 28 to somebody. Whisper that. Y'all talking too loud. Whisper. I heard every last one of y'all. All right. You got it. Put up 29, Danielle. Put up 29. Put up 29. Look at verse 29. And you shall find rest. Let me show you the difference. Go back to 28. 28, he says, if you come, I'll give you rest. Put up 29. But if you take and you learn, you'll find rest. You know what he's saying? He's saying this year, I don't want to just give you stuff. I want you to find some stuff on your own. And if you take my yoke and if you learn about me and you come to me, you're going to find plenty in 2020. You're going to find joy. You're going to find peace. You're going to find money. You're going to find employment. You're going to find contentment. You're going to find security. You're going to find attention. You're going to find affection. I won't have to give you everything. The mere fact that you're yoked up with me. All right, Daniela, let's put up our plus sign. Let's put up our plus sign. Watch this. Here's what I'm preaching. Come plus take plus learn will equal rest. Boy, I don't know why y'all don't feel like it today. Come plus take plus learn will equal rest. Now let me read one last translation and we rolling. Put up 28, 29, 30 in the message translation. I love this read. I love it, bro. Walker. Look what it says. Are you tired? Yes. I can tell that. I can tell by the way y'all acting today. Are you tired? Yes. Are you worn out? Yes. Are you burned out dealing with church folks? Yes. And look what Jesus says. Come to me. Watch it, MP. Get away with me. See, where we mess up, Frederick, is we just get away. I ain't dealing with this. I'm gone. One guy got so mad with his wife, he said, I'm gone. I don't need you for nothing. I'm gone. She said, well, leave then, leave. He said, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm gone. I don't need you for nothing. She said, well, go on. He said, all right, I'm gone. Then he said, can you give me a ride to my mother's? You can't be talking all that old yin yang. You ain't even got transportation. He says, get away with me and you will do what? Cover you. I'll show you how to take. That's it, Mother Davis. You see it, Mother Robinson? I'll show you how to take a real rest, which means sometimes we resting, but it ain't a real rest, because ain't no rest like the rest God can give you. God can give you rest for your mind. God can give you rest for your body. God can give you rest for your emotions. God can put up 29. Put up 29. All you got to do is walk with me. And not just walk with me, but what? Watch how I do it. Watch how I do it. Stop watching your pastor. Watch how I do it. Stop watching the TV personality that you've made a gospel icon. Watch how I do it. This is my favorite. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Unforced. You know what he's saying? Quit living life trying to force stuff. Quit living life trying to make stuff happen. Trying to make somebody love you. Trying to make somebody shout. Trying to make somebody say amen. Trying to make somebody marry you. Trying to make somebody clean up their room. He says, learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy. Watch it, Carlton. Or ill fitting. In other words, he says, I'm going to fit you with a yoke that's best for you. God knows what you can handle. And some of you have been praying, and God hadn't answered the way you want because he know you can't handle. You've been praying about a relationship, and you told God, make him light-skinned, curly hair, hazel eyes. And God said, no, you can't handle that. Because if I give you light-skinned, hazel eyes with curly hair, soon as a woman up in his face, you with your insecure self, what was all that about? Every time I turn around, she's saying something to you, you saying something to her. I just want you to know I ain't going to be living like that. So God says, I'm not going to let you be stressed out like that. I'm not going to let your blood pressure go up. Because if I give you tall, light-skinned, with curly hair and hazel eyes, you ain't going to be able to get no rest. So to make sure you get some rest, I'm going to give you short, chubby, bald-headed. Oh, y'all ready to go now? Y'all ready to go now? I'm going to give you somebody that don't nobody want but you. And if you see somebody with him, you go, oh, child, I ain't worried about that. Ain't nothing going on with that shit. Look at somebody say, why he preaching to you today? I ain't going to give you an executive because you ain't going to be able to sleep. I'm going to give you a mechanic. Grease under his nails. But oh, when he touch you. Come on, let's finish. Let's finish. Keep company with me. Keep company with me. Look at it, Veronica. Keep company with me. Here it is. And you will learn to live life. Miss Sarah, I love this. Freely and light. Anybody want to live like that in 2020? Anybody want to be free? Anybody want to be light? Will you tell folks I speak freedom and lightness over you all year long? Free. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care if you don't speak to me. I don't care if you decide not to be a part of my life. I'm free for what you think. I'm free for what you say. So what, you're telling lies and digging ditches? I'm free from that. God says, you get all this if you just come to me. I'm available. You're suitable. But for both of us, this thing could be profitable. Preach, Pastor. I'm available. You're suitable. But for both of us, this thing can be. Here it is, Dr. Wembley. Story is told of a man who was carrying 3 20-pound bags of potatoes. What is he carrying? What is he carrying? What is he carrying? All right, I got to ask questions to keep some of you up. He's carrying 3 20-pound bags of potatoes. One bag's in his right hand. Charlotte, one bag's in his left hand. Another bag's on top of his head. And he's walking because he doesn't have transportation. It's a 3-mile walk. It's a 3 mile, Brother Hill, it's a 3-mile walk. And Sharvin, he's carrying him. And every now and then he'll take a break and put him down because it's heavy. But then Janet, he'll pick it up and he'll walk some more. And then he'll put it down. He walks 1 mile, which means he has how many more miles to go? 2 miles to go. Walks 1 mile, takes a break. And a fella in a car drives up and said, "Can I give you a ride?" He says to him, "Yes, I would appreciate that." Gets in the car. They drive a mile, which means I only got 1 more mile to go. The driver looks at the guy he picked up and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "I picked you up, but I noticed you still holding the potatoes. You got one in right hand, you got one in left hand, you still got one on your head." The man that was picked up says to the driver, "Y'all got time to hear this?" Okay. All right. I don't know, some of y'all like, how long is this stuff? Okay, all right. He says, "Why are you still holding on to the potatoes?" The man who's holding on to the potatoes says this. He said, "You picked me up and I'm grateful, but I didn't want you to have to carry me and my load." Don't miss it. Don't miss it. The driver says to the man, "What you need to know is the car we're in has the ability to not only carry you, but also your load. You have experienced that the car could carry you because you got in, but you have not experienced that the car could carry the load because you won't let go." Y'all ain't ready for the pastor today. And Jesus is saying to somebody, not only can I carry you, but I can carry your hurt. I can carry your pain. I can carry your grief. I can carry your guilt. I can carry your sins. I can carry your smoking. I can carry your drinking. But you won't experience it until you let it go. And the Lord literally brought somebody here today so that you can drop all of your burdens at the feet of Jesus. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here that know God can carry you? Shake somebody's hand and say, "Neighbor, he can carry you, but he can also carry your load. But you got to let it go." Touch 3 people and say, "Let it go," and watch God pick it up. Watch God work it out. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Anybody know he can? Finish it for me. Tell everybody around you, let it go this week. Let it go. All of your doubts, all of your struggles, all of your insecurities, all of your issues, all of your disappointments, all of your fatigue, all of your struggles, all of your strain. Somebody shout, "Let it go, let it go." Everybody standing. Tell somebody, I liked it, that word today. I liked it, that word. Because the God we serve can not only carry you, but he can carry your heavy load. I came to Jesus as I was, wearied, worn, and sad. I found in him a resting place. He has made me glad. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since you know why you ought to give all of your pain and struggles to Jesus? He'll handle it for you. He'll handle it for you. Antonio, I'm going to throw this towel to you. Throw this towel to you. You throw it back to me. Throw it back to me. Don't shoot it. Just throw it back to me. Just throw it back to me. Every time I throw it to him, y'all, what is he doing? Throwing it back to me. Watch this. When you give your pains to people, when you throw them to people, guess what people do? Come on, man. About to cuss up it. Well, Kia, you working with me right now. When you throw your stuff to people, they throw it back to you. But when you throw it to Jesus, take it, Earl, and walk away with it. When you throw it to people, what will they do? You ever been talking to somebody and you told them what you was going through? And all they did was told you, child, that ain't nothing. Let me tell you what happened to me. And some of you talk to people that don't even have time to hear what you going through, because everything is all about, the Lord said, give it to me. Because this year I want you to live freely. And this year I want you to live. Come. Come plus take plus learn. I want to give somebody a chance today to respond to their invitation. Come on. Lord's calling you back to church. I see you, daughter. Yeah, right there. You good right there, daughter. You good right there. Somebody else. Repeat after me. Lord, I pray for everybody on my row. When this prayer is over, let people know you're available, they are suitable, and coming to you is profitable. Release them in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, turn and ask them, can I go with you? Come on. Somebody else. Anybody else? Change. Come now. Anybody else? Come on.